thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make 10 cards and a bag using one sheet of Designer Series paper. This is the paper. It's called Cozy Christmas. It's in the holiday catalog, or the stamp set is called Cozy Christmas. The Designer Series paper is actually called Home for Christmas. And then we're using Real Red ink. Okay, so what we're going to do now is cut our Designer Series paper. This is my another One Sheet Wonder class, and I've got my template right here, so I'll go ahead and explain. This is template number 2. I showed you number 1 a few weeks ago. Your first cut is going to be at 4 inches, and you're going to be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips for your card out of that one cut. Then you're going to turn your cardstock around, or your Designer Series paper, cut at 6 inches, and then cut that at 10. That leftover piece you're going to cut for another card, and then the leftover piece you're going to trim off a little bit. You're going to cut this at 1 3/4 and then at 4, 4 1/4. So I'm going to show you how to do that now, okay? Okay, so like I said, the first cut is going to be at 4 inches. Let me make sure I've got that ruler in the camera for you. So the dark gray blade is the cutting blade. So this is 4 by 12. I'm going to set that aside for just a second. Now we're going to cut this at 6 inches. And then I'm going to open up the arm, and we're going to cut this at 10. And I don't know if you can see the 10 mark. Okay, it's right there. Okay, this is for our bag, so I'm going to set that aside for now. Now this piece that's left over right here, it needs to be cut to 1 3/4 and then 4 1/4, or no, 4, I'm sorry. So all 10 of these pieces are going to measure 4 by 1 3/4, okay? So this is the first one. Now this long strip, we're just going to trim that down to 1 3/4. And then trim to 4, and we're going to get 3 pieces. So 4. Okay. So there's those 4. Now we're going to take our 4 by 12 piece, and we're going to trim at the 1 3/4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I want to show you the scraps. This is the only scrap you're going to have left over out of your 12 by 12 piece of paper, okay? And technically you could make another card with this. It would just be a smaller measurement than the 1 3/4, okay? So now we've got all 10 of these. Next we're going to work on our solid cardstock. You're going to need 6 pieces of Very Vanilla to make your 10 cards and to stamp your images, and then you're going to need 4 sheets of Real Red, and that is for your panels and your circles. I've already got all of these cut, so head over to my website on the post where this class or where this project's going to be. Leave a comment. We're going to send this package to someone that leaves a comment. And I will be drawing the name in about a week and a half, okay? So you've got a while. So these are our panels, and this is my Designer Series paper. What I did was I cut the vanilla in strips so that it's easier to get our circles. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So for the red, you don't have to cut this in advance. I just like to cut it so that it makes it easier to cut my circles, okay? So I'm positioning this just a little bit past the 3, okay? And this one you don't even have to trim, but just to keep it simple, we will. These don't have to be exact because, again, we're just cutting circles out of these. No, that's 2 sheets. I should have said that in advance. So only cut 2 of your sheets for your circles, okay? Now for this one, our red piece is going to measure 4 1/4 by 2. So 4 1/4, you get 2 long strips because this is 8 1/2. So half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut this right in half at 4 1/4, and then now cut it 2. So this is our panel for our card. See? Just like that. So we want to cut for 10 of these. So I'm going to put this on here again. 2. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes to assemble all of these. Okay, so now we're going to cut for the card bases. So we're going to cut this at 5 1/2. Where's my 5 1/2? So this is for 2 cards. Cut it 5 1/2 again. 4. 6. Let's see. 8. And 10. So here's our card bases. So we've got these. This is our supplies so far. The only thing left we have to do is cut these for our circle. So our circle's going to measure 2 1/2 inches. So we can cut this at 2 3/4. And again, this just makes it easier to stamp your circles and cut them. Now I've got my image, real red. Now if you stamp this in the right place, you should be able to get 3 of these out of 1 strip. I may have stamped that one a little too high. Okay, so there's the first one. I wanted to make sure before I cut all of them, or before I stamped all of them, that I was doing it properly. So for this last one, you just want to turn your paper around so that you can hold it. Okay, there's 3. So now I'm going to stamp the rest of them real quick. So now for our red circles, what we're going to do is use the circle framelits. And if you do not own the circle framelits, do not worry. I have something to show you towards the end that if you don't have it, you can make it work anyway, okay? So I'm going to get out the Big Shot. And then I've got my magnetic platform and a cutting pad. Let's turn this over. Now I'm going to warn you, I am going to only do 1 circle at a time, and because I'm doing 11 of them, 10 for the cards and 1 for the bag, I am going to fast forward this because I don't think you want to see me run this through 11 times. But I'll show you a couple, okay? So like I said, you get 2 circles out of 1 strip of your red cardstock, okay? Okay, so I am on my last strip of red cardstock cutting out the circles. And as I do this last one, I want to mention that I am giving away a Big Shot this month, the month of September, So to enter to win, you get 1 ticket for every $25 ordered. And for 10 days only, I'm offering double entries while I'm at Founders Circle. So all the details are posted on my website. And if I reach my milestone by September 30th, I'm actually going to give away 3 Big Shots instead of 1. So check out my blog for all the details. Okay, so now I'm going to move the Big Shot out of the way, and we are going to start assembling. I've got my Simply Scored scoring tool here. We want to go ahead and score our card bases real quick. So we're going to score this at 4 1/4. And you can use your Stampin' Trimmer if you want, but you have to replace those scoring blades periodically. So I really like using the Simply Scored scoring tool when I'm doing a lot. That way, well, you never really have to replace your scoring tool. You might have to replace your little stylus thingy, though, if you lose it. I swear, it and my reader glasses are something I could look for forever some days. They're usually hidden under a piece of paper. Almost done. One more. Okay. I'm just going to fold these over, make sure I've got them nice and straight. Use my bone folder just because it's a little easier, I think, to make the card when it's flat. When you don't use the bone folder, it just kind of pops up. Here's our 10 card bases. So now I'm just going to take my little panels here and I'm going to attach them to the red. I'm just going to use my snail adhesive. So I'm just going to lay out 3 of them at a time and add my adhesive. You can use your liquid glue or glue sticks or whatever glue is your most favorite. And I'm wondering, I think that, no, that's right. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there's the first one. And the second one. And the third. I have to look up to make sure I'm actually filming in the camera. Okay. I should have set the timer to see how long actually. Of course, I can look on my counter on the video camera. It was crooked. I cut it crooked by accident, so it'll be fine. We'll add that one last, or maybe we won't even do that one just because it is messed up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our circles. To the circles, we're going to be using dimensionals. So for these projects, I do use dimensionals and glue dots, and then my snail. I should have said that in the beginning. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're just going to peel the backing off of our dimensional. And this is a layer that you can actually not pop up. On my original card that I made, I did not pop it up. So you can decide which one you want to pop up. I'll show you the original card and you can decide which layer. On the one I made, my sample, I put the dimensional on the red. You could actually pop up both if you want. So now we're going to attach these strips right inside here. But first, we're going to stamp the inside, because if we mess up, then we can start over and get a clean piece of paper. If we messed up after we decorated it, then we would waste our material. So I'm going to turn my stamp set in this, or my ink pad in this direction, because my stamp set will fit better this way. And I'm trying to make sure that I have the stamp going in the right direction. And I can't tell. There we go. I'm glad I turned it around. Okay, so right here in the middle, It just says have a cozy Christmas. This image is also in the same stamp set, so I'm just going to repeat this 10 times. Here's the panels. I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back. Attach this on the front. About, what is that? A little more than a half an inch. I'll go ahead and put adhesive on a couple of these. Whoops. Okay, so you'll have to let me know if you prefer that I fast forward through the repeats. So like cutting all 10 circles, would you prefer I kind of fast forward that with some little music? Or do you want me just to show every step? I do have several One Sheet Wonders already lined up. I designed them a while back. Just waiting for the holidays. So tell me what you prefer. I kind of like doing the music with the fast forward. Just makes it a little cleaner, but you can let me know. Okay, now, remember when I told you that originally I had popped up the red piece like that? This time I decided to not pop up the red, but to pop up the vanilla, the image. For whatever reason, I just like adding it on one side. I think because it's a little bit higher, you know, because it's got 2 other layers there. That's why I'm doing it that way. Okay, really cute. Now we're going to add some embellishments. So I'm going to take this 1/8 striped ribbon. If you saw One Sheet Wonder number 1, we used the green ribbon on that card for all of those, and now we're using the red for this one. So now I'm going to take a glue dot and add the bow down here at the bottom. Okay, so there's that card. I'm going to go ahead and tie 9 more of these because the bag is going to need one too, so I'm going to get that out of the way. I will either fast forward it or I will just trim this out so that you don't actually have to watch me do all of them. So now I've got all my bows tied, so we're just going to add them real quick. Again, I'm just going to use a glue dot. Okay, so our cards are complete. Now I want to show you a card that you don't need the framelits if you don't have them, okay? So here is another version of this card. And this was almost the card that we were going to make 10 of. And the reason that I didn't, I can't remember, to be honest. There was a reason. Oh, it's because okay, so I really like cards that are white and vanilla based. I don't know why, I just do. So when I looked at this one, I'm like, I really like this one better. But I know a lot of people like color. So the only difference of this card is that the vanilla of this one is the base of your card. So this one, it's red. I added a vanilla insert in here, 5 1/4 by 4. And then the only thing it's missing is that red circle that we cut out with the framelits. Okay, this one is cut out with the 2 1/2 inch circle punch. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so now let's make our bag real quick. So this is all the cards, yay. Here's the piece that we have left over. This measures 6 by 10. Okay, so we're going to place it here on our Simply Scored scoring tool. We're going to score it at 1.5, and then we're going to turn it and score it at 1.5 again, okay? Then we're going to place it in landscape, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4 and 5 3/4. Now we're going to fold it on the score lines. And I'm going to show you the extra supplies you're going to need for this project. Okay, just take my bone folder real quick. Now, we're going to take the score line that's right here. We're going to fold it down to this score line here, okay? I have made these bags in all sorts of sizes in the past. We're going to do the same thing on this size, or this side. In fact, I think I made this week for another project that's another size, okay? So I'm just doing this on all 4 of the sides. We're going to bring this up just like that. Bring this up and bring that together. And there's your cute little treat holder, cute little bag. Okay, so the supplies you're going to need for the bag, we're going to need some vanilla ribbon, the 1/4 or the 1/4 handheld circle punch, and some silver cord. So you'll need these 3 in addition to the supplies that you used for the card, okay? So for this one, I'm just going to bring these back up together and punch a hole right there at the top. I'm going to take this awesome new ribbon. This is in the holiday catalog. I used it on a Christmas card a month or so ago, and I have not used it since, so I was looking for an opportunity to use it. Now don't forget the tutorial, all the measurements and supplies and everything. I have a nice PDF over on my website for you to just download and print. That way you don't have to write anything down. And I should have mentioned that in the very beginning, but I'll make sure it's on the screen. Now we're going to take the silver cord and we're just going to knot this at the top. You can tie a bow if you want. I'm just going to knot it today. And then you'd want to clean up your ends of the ribbon if they fray. I think mine look pretty good, actually. Yep, they do. Okay, so this image that we had earlier, we're going to take that bow left over and we're going to add it to the front. And we have one more thing that I'm going to do. See, it's going to attach just like that. And I am going to add it to the bag with a couple dimensionals. Okay, so the final step, I'm waiting to the very end. It is optional, but I went round and round on whether or not to add. As you can see, I added rhinestones to this one. So, for these cards, you can also add rhinestones. So I thought, well, I'll add rhinestones to a few, and you guys can decide whether you want to add them or not. I really did go back and forth. I put them on, I took them off, I put them back on, and then I just decided that, yes, I need them. So I'm adding 3 to the bag. See how cute that is? And the same thing for the cards. So I'm just going to add 1 over that little snowflake and 1 over that one. And I have one more suggestion, so I'll just add it to this one. I won't add it to the rest. If you wanted to make your card, like ramp it up even more, we have this Stylish Stripes embossing folder that you could technically emboss the front of your card if you wanted to. Okay, so this wraps up my One Sheet Wonder class number 2. If you'd like to place an order for any of these projects or download the instructions, head over to my website. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.